Well, you know, this is an episode that I never thought I would be making. It's with great joy that I present this episode to you, but also with a lot of sorrow. I lost my dad in January, and it just was so unexpected. But at the same time, I feel really blessed and fortunate to have gotten to spend so much time with my dad. You know, he raised me as a hunter and raised me out in the country. Him and my mom did, and I'm just so blessed by that. I feel really fortunate that I got to guide with him for 30 years as of this past fall on our Colorado property. And I learned so much from him about hunting. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today without his influence in my life. And this episode is going to be about our last hunt together. He had an Arizona tag a few years ago. Of course, I didn't know it would be our last hunt together with him hunting, but what a blessing it turned out to be for me to get to share this hunt with him in Arizona.
Well, I'd always heard that Unit 9 was a place that you could have a real chance of getting a nice bull, and I really wanted to try to get a bull of a lifetime, and having a 7-day hunt, it looked like that was a possibility.
You know, on this year with my dad having this Arizona tag and me also having a couple of clients who had the same unit, my dad, being a great hunter in his own right, really encouraged me to go ahead and take care of my clients since this was my business. And he would go ahead and hunt with our good friend Perry Berry, who was going to run camera with him. So they set out in search of a great bull.
Let's follow him. Yeah.
So my dad was really one of a kind of person. I always say that he's a once every century kind of guy. You know, he was the best dryland bean farmer that I ever knew. He was a guy that nothing could hold him back. I mean, if he had a problem, he always found a way through it or around it. He could fix or fabricate anything. He was a great hunter, and he raised me that way, so I was very thankful for that. But I think most importantly about my dad is he was a man of God and really pointed me toward Christ, and that's what I appreciate the most about my dad.
Elk Camp with Steve Chappell is brought to you by Bergara Rifles. Our barrels make the difference. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. We call the game. Zeiss Sports Optics. Confidence in the toughest conditions. Scree. Extreme Mountain Gear. And by Steve Chappell's Zero Hunt Fees. Experience Arizona elk hunting with zero hunt fees. Elk Camp with Steve Chappell is brought to you by Bergara Rifles. Our barrels make the difference.
You know, throughout my life, my dad and I talked a lot about the Bible and about the Lord. And you know what I always appreciated about my dad is he was just so much about grace and about Christ's finished work on the cross. And the fact that, you know, we didn't have a part in it, that it was all of Christ. And, you know, that just really gave me such comfort and peace, just knowing that it was really bought and paid for, and all I had to do was believe and receive it as a free gift. And you know, it said a lot about my dad when we could be working together and we could be over at our place in Colorado where we've guided together for 30 years, and it'd be just me and him. We'd sit down to have a sandwich and we'd always ask the blessing when we were together. And yeah, the Lord was just the centerpiece of his life. Well, as Dad continued to hunt, my clients and I were finally able to find a great bull on the morning of day 5. Yeah, thank you so much, you guys. Great shooting, Sally. So fun to meet and hunt with you guys. Now that Sally was able to take this beautiful 6x7, I was really excited to think about getting to hunt with my dad for a couple of days, and hopefully we'd be able to get a great bull for him as well.
Well, it was a relief, you know, because Steve's an experienced guide. I'm confident in his calling. It was just a relief to not have the pressure of calling. All I had to do was pack my rifle and follow him around.
So I learned to hunt from my dad, and I have a lot of respect for his leadership and his wisdom. So this was really going to be a unique situation for me to be his guide on these couple of days of hunting. And I looked forward to it, but I have to be honest, I was a little bit nervous too. As the morning continued, Dad and I heard another bull bugle off in the distance, and it sounded like a mature bugle. So I checked the wind and we moved in the bull's direction, hoping we'd get to take a look at him. That evening, Dad and I decided to sit on a vantage point near a pond in an Arizona Game and Fish trick tank with hopes that a bull would come into water and we'd get an opportunity at him. And we definitely didn't anticipate a big thunderstorm moving in and raining out our hunt that evening. Amazingly, with all the rain, we still got to see a 6-point bull come in and approach the water.
This episode of Elk Camp is sponsored by Zeiss Sports Optics, confidence in the toughest conditions. This episode of Elk Camp is sponsored by Scree, extreme mountain gear.
But the second day, it was really exciting. We went out and got on a bull right away, and it was a big 5x5.
On the second day that Dad and I got to hunt together, which was actually day 7 and the final morning of the hunt, we got rain delayed again. But Dad and I were determined to get out there and find a good bull for him and fill his tag.
We were getting a little late in the morning, and then we heard another bull. I should say my son, Steve Lynn, heard another bull. And we took out after him, and Steve said, "He's coming in, you better get down." And so I got down on my shooting sticks.
This episode of Elk Camp is sponsored by Steve Chappell's Zero Hunt Fees. Experience Arizona elk hunting with zero hunt fees. This episode of Elk Camp is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. We call the game.
With Dad and I set up on the final morning of his hunt and a bull responding to my cow calls, it appears like this bull is going to show up at any moment. sure. You're a young guy. I hope he fell on that road. Wouldn't that be great? Just walk right up here and see if we can see him. Yeah. I have no doubts. I don't think you jerked that bad. I didn't scream. You didn't close your eyes and scream anyway. Yeah, that was a pretty crazy morning. Had everything from elk running away from us to when we finally got on some that were bugling, came in and rained on us real hard, and we had to wait it out in the truck for a few minutes. And they were just running on us this morning.
Yeah, the cows were moving away, and no way to get a real clear shot of that bull at one point. But this was exciting to have this bull get up out of his bed and then just come in bugling to your call. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, he bugled right there on top of us. Didn't even know he was there, really. And yeah, and then when I cow called at him, I saw him stand up after he bugled. I couldn't believe he was bedded down.
Yeah.
And we had a dead tree in front of us that he was kind of playing hide and seek there with us for a minute.
Yeah.
He made the fatal mistake of stepping into that lane in front of your 300. I knew he was in trouble then.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get to hunt a lot together, Dad. You were hunting on your own there for a while and calling some in, you and Perry. And it was nice to get with you for a couple days.
Yeah, we called a few in while they were fresh the first day or two, but then we really floundered. I was excited when you got your hunts filled and was able to drop down and pick up your old dad and take him out and get a nice bull like this.
I wouldn't say that. You about walked me to death. I hope I can walk half as good as you can 20 years from now. I don't know.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. You're a great hiker, great shooter, great hunter. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you.
Thanks, son.
Love you, Dad.
Love you too. Yeah, appreciate it.
Great job. To sum it all up, I just want to say thanks to my dad for being such a big influence in my life and raising me the way that he did, and just having such an impact on me and what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be here without him. But most importantly, I want to thank him for how he lived his life focused on the Lord and how he pointed me to Christ, because really in the end, that's all we have is our salvation. And he really gave me that leadership and assurance and wisdom that it's all the finished work of Jesus that gets us to heaven. And it's a pretty amazing thought to know that my dad's faith is now sight. And what we talked about all those years, he's actually there with the Lord and experiencing it for real. So until then, Dad, I love you, and I'll see you real soon.